It's a struggle to look back to the beginning of this. 2001, is it? Season 1 was that's even before James joined, because we were with another chap. James was lost and something. And what jumps out is I've done radio and TV now for 26 years. But even by then I'd been, 10, 15 years. And it was the fact that in the first day, the first studio record in the studio, which is just behind you over there, we stood on the stage and we'd rehearsed, we knew what to do, and it was Jeremy and me, we were ready, and all the audience was in, and then they play in the theme tune, and the theme music of Top Gear came on, and I thought, brilliant, Top Gear's on! Oh, hang on, I'm on it! Because it was my favourite show as a kid. I loved it in a previous incarnation. So it just blew my mind. I had to think and concentrate. That was a really special moment. And it was just knowing when I went for my audition for it, which is now 12 years ago, and I drove home. My agent had said, "Yeah, you got an audition. They're doing a new Top Gear. You're not going to get it. They want a girl." Oh, all right, thanks. So I went and did the audition, and I just rang her on the way home and said, "Look, I wish I hadn't gone. Why? Because they're all great. They're going to have such fun, and the show's going to be amazing. And I'm not going to get it." And then about 3-4 months later, I got the call, and I got it.
Did they make you talk about sheep?
It was the Land Bank, wasn't it?
That was it.
Well, they made me talk about my history in local radio, which is where I started in 1987-8. And one of my first jobs was I was handed a sheaf of papers at BBC Radio Cumbria, which is a very rural local radio station, a very agricultural area. And my first job, they give you a big sheaf of papers, and on it are just the names of sheep, different types of sheep, and you have to read these out. These are lambs, in the hope that other farmers who maybe have ewes with no lambs, their ewes can adopt these lambs. It's a public service. So I had to read it. 2 key issues. One, it was a 20-minute read. Just hundreds of these pieces of paper. 2, the DJ said, "Now at 9:20, it's time for the Land Bank with Richard Hammond." And he played the jingle. But the jingle was, bah. I just completely lost it. So I was on the floor, that was my day one, rolling about on the studio floor with bits of paper, trying to say the names of lambs to a microphone up there. Look where it got me, sitting here on an Astra. Yeah.
What was your gut instinct about the show when it began? Failure or phenomenon? Talking about the new incarnation.
When we first started, it wasn't that well received. It wasn't enormous. Because it was just another car show, but that was the joy of it. It wasn't subject to the kind of scrutiny to which it is now on a hourly basis all around the world. Nobody gave a rat's what's it about it. We just did our little car show. I figured it was good and going to get better. I knew we were going to have fun. I knew I was working with kind of the best in a fairly narrow field, making car shows. I'd made car shows for 8-9 years previously on smaller stations. So it was, I thought this would be good, we'll enjoy this will be nice. I don't know, maybe we might run for a couple of years. And here we are.
Who has been the one guest on the show that made you nervous, and why?
When the guests turn up for the show, it's amazing how differently they handle it. Gambon, I've got Gambon, who's after in that corner, is named over there. Big name! I mean, really big name. He rocks up at about 8 o'clock in the morning in his hat and an overcoat to stand and just look at the track. He loves it. Just shuffles about. Patrick Stewart, when he turned up, we were all sitting on a table just there, down from the production office, in the sun, daylight to day, having a quick chat before we went into the studio. And this bloke shuffled up with a baseball cap on. All right? And we went, yeah, whatever, we're in a meeting, hang on. And it was Patrick Stewart. But then occasionally Hollywood arrives. Hugh Jackman was here last week. We had Tom Cruise here, and then the place is littered with Winnebagos and people, because they have people who do people things. So it's amazing the different ways in which they arrive. I don't know, what makes you nervous? It makes you nervous when you look up and realise the person you're about to send away for interrupting your lunch is an international movie star. But equally, it makes me nervous when somebody turns up with people and Winnebagos, because I'm a local radio presenter. I have two daughters, aged 10 and about to be 13, and they have no interest whatsoever in cars, motorcycles or helicopters, all the things I like, because none of those things are ponies. And that's it. That's as far as our interest extends. My eldest daughter comes out on the motorbike with me and goes in the helicopter occasionally, but I know all the time she's doing it to humour Daddy, because she's sweet. When they reach an age to drive, will I be scared? The elder one, Izzy, no. She's incredibly sensible. That makes her sound boring. She's not. She's a lunatic. But she's good at evaluating risks. She's sensible with her riding. She's sensible with what she does. Willow, my youngest, is a maniac. And that will make me a bit edgy. They're both good. They've got those little electric cars that you can belt around in at home. They're too big for them now. But they were, when I could persuade them to get in them and drive about a bit, to humour me, they were good. I used to set up courses and have them like doing auto testing in the yard at the back of the house around cones and parking, and they'd yeah, all right, Daddy, yeah, great, I did it, thanks, away. Off to look at the ponies. They don't care. I get home and there's my wife, two daughters, Mel who helps around the house, another girl whose name I don't know who helps with the horses, and they're all there, and then there's me, and I get home, land on the lawn, or get home off the bike. Hello ladies. Nothing. I just wander through the crowd, I make myself a cup of coffee and go off to the garage and sit with my bikes. That's true, I'm not making that up. That's my life.
If you had to choose James or Jeremy to drive you somewhere urgently, who would you pick and why?
If I had to choose James and Jeremy to drive me somewhere urgently, it rather depends upon how far away it was. Because choosing James for a short, snappy journey, mistake. Because it takes him a while. He has to walk up to the car, stop, consider the car. Am I on the right side for the steering wheel? Yes. Yes, I am. I need the door. I'm standing next to the door, there's the handle. I'm going to extend my right arm, bending at the elbow. Rotating wrist, pushing hands forwards, rotating fingers, cupping handle. It takes a long time. I'd choose Jeremy. However, if it were a longer journey, once we got going, I'd then have to talk to him, which would mean talking to Jeremy for an extended period, even at speed. I think what I'd do is drive myself.